something wonderful in me. God is doing something wonderful in me. Something awesome and incredible. Only God will get the glory. God is doing something wonderful, incredible, and awesome. God is doing.
Paul, an apostle of Jesus Christ, a wise master builder, gives us words of wisdom for living a better life. In Ephesians chapter 5, verses 17 through 21, Paul drops a lot of nuggets. He gives us a lot of powerful points that we can apply to our lives to make our lives better. Words of wisdom for better living. Pulley point number 1, Paul said, sing to the Lord. Psalms, hymns, spiritual songs. Sing to the Lord. Sing to God out of gratitude, out of appreciation, out of thanksgiving to all that God is to you, all that God has done for you, and from where God has brought you from. Sing to the Lord. Sing to the Lord a new song. Sing to the Lord. It's not just talking to God, but it's singing to God and allowing God to sing back to you. That it's not about how it sounds or all the notes being on key or hitting the right tonality and pitch and tempo and frequency, but it's about coming from your heart. Sing to the Lord. When you sing, you pray twice. When you sing, because of the time and effort and energy and the breathing that singing requires, it's more than just saying a prayer to God. Sing to the Lord. Many times we're singing about God, but we're not actually singing to God. It doesn't matter whether it's in the shower, in the bathtub. It doesn't matter whether you're in the car by yourself. Sing to the Lord. Share with God how you feel. Write a song to the Lord about where God has brought you from and what God has done for you. That's what they did in the Bible. Many of the Psalms of David are to the Lord through his experiences with God. Even the song of Miriam, as God brought them over and through the Red Sea. It's a song out of their experience in thanksgiving. In all things give thanks. Of appreciation. God, you've been so good to me. Let me sing to you about it. So, pulley point number 1, the first wise word for better living for today is sing to the Lord. Pulley point number 2, the second wise word for better living is speak to yourself. Paul says speaking to yourselves, which means not only do I sing to God, but I talk to myself. Now, when I grew up, they used to say people that talk to themselves were crazy. Then they grew in conscience. They said, well, you can talk to yourself as long as you don't answer back. Then they said, well, talk to yourself and answer back. That is okay. And so it is important that you talk to yourself, especially in the mirror. Look at yourself. You can do it in your birthday suit. That'll be even better. Look at all of you and talk to yourself and tell yourself the truth about who you really are. That you are a spiritual being made in the image and likeness of God. Tell yourself the truth. That you are a unique, unrepeatable expression of the divine. Tell yourself the truth. That you are a spiritual being living in a spiritual universe that is governed by the spiritual law of love. Tell yourself the truth. That you are perfect, whole, and complete. That there's nothing missing, nothing broken, nothing out of place in your life. Tell yourself the truth. That you are the image and likeness of God. And what you say to you and about you is more important than anything that anybody else can say to you or about you. Many times we get upset when people don't speak to us. How about speak to yourself? Instead of telling your neighbor, tell yourself. Speak to yourself. Pulley point number 3. The third word of wisdom that Paul gives us for better living is he says, submit to one another. And many times people think submission is a dirty word. But submission just means that I recognize the God in you, through you, and as you. Submission means that I recognize that God has put you in this position and given you this role and responsibility. That is what submission means. So I'm not going to give you a hard time. I'm not going to challenge your authority and your right to be in that position. But I am going to submit to you what I think. I'm going to submit to you what I feel. I'm not just going to follow your instructions. I'm not just going to build your vision and your mission, but I'm also going to share with you my thoughts and feelings, because we're submitting one to another. Namaste, the Christ in me, recognize the Christ in you. Namaskar, the God in me bows down, honors, respects, and reverences the God in you. It says submit to one another out of fear, out of reverence, out of respect for God, because you're made in the image and likeness of God. Tag someone in this post, share it on your page, repost it. This is Dr. Pulley with the gospel of the kingdom, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached all over the earth before the end can come. If you desire full version of today's message, catch it on our Facebook page, Dr. DeVara Pulley, or our YouTube channel, Dr. Pulley. In Ephesians chapter 5 and verse number 25, Paul gives us some wise words for better living. And he's talking about self-love. And it was such a part of the fabric of the Jewish culture that he said no one ever hates their own flesh, but they nourish it and cherish it as the Lord does the church. In Jewish culture, it was embedded to love yourself. In American culture, not so much. In other cultures, not so much. So we can't just assume that everybody loves themselves. We must command people to love themselves, to love God, to love yourself, and to love everyone in that order. Jesus said to love your neighbor as yourself. But even in that statement, people see the self as last. But he gave it as an as factor to compare how you're loving yourself so that you can be able to love someone else to the same degree. And so today we've got to state it. We've got to command it. Love yourself. It is important that we empower people with this power, with this energy, with this strength, with this courage to love themselves. Affirm with me today, I love myself. Affirm, I love my whole self. And so we are made in the image and likeness of God, so we're threefold beings. So when we say we love ourselves, let's break it down to parts, because I believe that there are parts of ourselves that we love and we nourish and cherish, and then there are parts of ourselves that we don't love, that we do not nourish and we do not cherish. Pulley point number one, I love my spirit. I love who I am as a spiritual being, living in a spiritual universe that is governed by the spiritual law of love and kingdom principles undergirding that law of love. I love myself. I love that I am a unique, unrepeatable expression of God. I love the expression of God that I am. I love myself. I love my spirit, that I am made in the image of God. I have divine, unlimited potential, and I love it. I am made in the likeness of God. I am manifesting God in this moment, and I love it. I love my spirit. I love that I am perfect, whole, and complete. And there's nothing missing, nothing broken, and nothing out of place in my spirit. I love my spirit. Pulley point number two, I also love my soul, because I am spirit and I have a soul. So my soul is my mind. I love my mind and how I think. I love my heart and how I feel. These are all aspects of the soul. I love my intellect and how I learn lessons from various experiences. I love my will and how I make decisions and choices. I love my soul. I love all of me, every facet, every part of me. Pulley point number three, I love my body. I love every system, every organ, every atom, every cell, the joint and the marrow of my bones. I love my body. The cellulite, the cellulose, the cellulose, I love it. The lumps, the bumps, the onions, the corns, I love it. And that's how you heal yourself, by loving yourself. That when you love yourself, your body lets go of sickness, pain, disease, discomfort, and dysfunction. When you love yourself, you create harmonious relationships, because you're in the relationship loving yourself. The relationship becomes harmonious. When you love yourself, you attract increase, abundance, overflow, and more than enough to yourself. When you love yourself, you nourish yourself. You cherish yourself through your digestion, through your intimacy, through your rest, through your exercise, through your checkups, through your treats, through your outward appearance and your recreation. You are showing yourself that you love yourself, that it's not just words. The love is not in word, but it's also in deed and in truth. I love myself, so that means that I am aware of myself. I love myself. It means I accept myself. I love myself. It means I take actions to take care of myself. I love myself. I nourish myself. I cherish myself. I forgive myself because I love myself. Tag someone in this post, share it on your page, repost it. This is Dr. Pulley with the Gospel of the Kingdom. If you desire a full version of today's message, you can catch it on our Facebook page, Dr. Derara Pulley, or our YouTube channel, Dr. Pulley. And this Gospel of the Kingdom shall be preached all over the earth before the end can come. In Ephesians 5, Paul is giving us wise words for better living, especially in relationships, intimate relationships, romantic relationships, partnerships, marriages. He's giving us advice. And some people don't want Paul's advice. They say, Paul looked like he was never married. How he going to tell me? But I believe that God gave him wisdom to give us some principles and practices that we can use to help us have better intimate and romantic relationships. Some people say Jesus wasn't married, so I don't want to hear him either. But I believe that God flowed through him to give us wisdom about marriage. Jesus had something to say about marriage as well. And they say most of what we find in the Bible about marriage was written by people who were single. But I believe that the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of God is able to flow through people regardless of their marital or relationship status. That even somebody who has been divorced and separated, they can still tell us something. They can give us lessons that we can learn so we don't repeat the same issues that they had. Even someone who is happily married, they can teach us some of the strategies that cause them to have longevity in their marriage. We can learn from anybody if we're open, if we're honest, if we're receptive to be able to receive it. And so I'm inviting you today to open up your heart and your mind to get these principles of what Paul is teaching us about how to have a relationship of longevity. Point number one, he said it has to be love. That lust is not enough. Lust fades. That sometimes you're attracted and sometimes you're not attracted. Sometimes they turn you on, sometimes they turn you off. So lust is not enough because you might be lusting for somebody else. It's got to be love. Even when the lust is not there, the love is there. And when you're lusting for somebody else, the love is there. Because all that's in the world is the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life, which is not of the Father, but is of the world. So you need love. Lust is not enough. Even liking somebody is not enough. Because sometimes we like people and sometimes we don't like people. Sometimes they get on our nerves. We feel frustrated by what they say and what they do. Sometimes they irritate us. But when the love is there, it causes you to transcend when you don't like them. It causes you to transcend when you're not feeling that lustful feeling towards them. So Paul teaches us that you got to have love. If you're going to have a relationship that's going to last, you got to have love. Point number two, Paul teaches us that you also got to have leadership. And somebody's got to be the head. Somebody got to be the neck. Somebody's got to be the head. And this model, Paul comes from a very patriarchal background, a Jewish background, a traditional background of husband and wife. The husband is the head. The wife, obey your husband. Husband, love your wife. But we're going to take it a little bit deeper. And we're going to get to the principle, to what the heart of what Paul was saying. And he was saying we need leadership in any relationship. Regardless of the gender, we need leadership. And let me tell you, any leadership model will work. It can be leadership based on different aspects of the relationship. You're better at this, so you lead in this area. I'm better at that, so I lead in that area. It doesn't have to be one person that leads in all areas. It can be rotating. You lead in this time, in this season, because I got X, Y, and Z going on. I'll lead in the next season. As long as the leadership model is clear. Maybe it is traditional where one person is the head and one person, follows, one person leads. Whatever it is, as long as those two people agree, the Bible says if two of you agree concerning anything you ask, it shall be done. How can two walk together except they agree? As long as you agree on the leadership model and how decisions are going to be made, you need a leader. Can you imagine a classroom and the teacher is not the lead? Can you imagine an office where the director is not the lead? Can you imagine a community where the mayor or the governor is not the lead? We need leadership. And it doesn't matter what it looks like as long as the people understand it and agree to it. So decisions can be made. When you don't have leadership, you got chaos, you got confusion. And God is not the author of confusion, but a God of peace. Pulley point number 3, he gives us this other lesson in love. And he says, you're going to have to leave something. He says, for this cause will a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife. The deeper principle is that if you're going to be in a romantic, intimate relationship, there are going to be people, places, and things that you have to leave. In order for this relationship, in order to cleave, you're going to have to leave some things. You can't be married and single at the same time. You're going to have to leave some old ways of being, seeing, thinking, speaking, and behaving behind. You're going to have to leave some people, places, and things behind. If you desire love, there's something you're going to have to leave. What are you willing to leave in order to have the love that you desire? Tag someone in this post. Share it on your page. This is Dr. Pulley with the Gospel of the Kingdom. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached all over the earth before the end can come. If you desire full version of today's message, you can catch it on our Facebook page, Dr. Dara Pulley, or our YouTube channel, Dr. Pulley. Paul is giving us some more wise words for better living in Ephesians 5, the latter part of the chapter. He starts talking about relationships and what's required to have a successful relationship, a healthy relationship. And he's giving us more marital advice. He's giving us more information about how to build a healthy relationship. And so, pulley point number 1, Paul says we got to realize that we are members of one body. Right. The mystery is Christ and the church. And so he says Christ is the head, we're the body. Just like in the traditional husband and wife relationship, the husband is the head, the wife is the neck, the children are the body. And so he says we got to realize our oneness. You cannot have a healthy, successful, harmonious relationship of longevity as long as you see yourself separate from the person, as long as you see yourself apart from the person. You have to see your oneness with the person. And there's no separation between me and you. That the only thing between me and you is the love of God. And that's the glue between me and you is the love of God. And it keeps us connected. So you've got to see yourself one, that every man is my brother. I am one with you. Every woman is my sister. I am one with you. Every child is my child. I am one with you. Every person is my sibling. I am one with you. The siblings, offspring, they share the same DNA with the parents and with each other because they see their oneness with each other on a physical level. It's the same way on a metaphysical and spiritual level. We got to see ourselves as one because there's only one power and one presence in all the universe. That power and that presence is God. That power and that presence is good. That power and that presence is in us. It flows through us. It functions as us. That we're all breathing the same breath of life. So we're all one. We're all on this earth. So we're all one. And so in order to have a healthy relationship with people, we must see our oneness with them. I'm one with my neighbors, my co-workers, my classmates. I'm one with the supervisors, the teachers, the directors. I am one with them. That there is no separation between me and God. There is no separation between me and good. There is no separation between me and you. We are members of one body. Pulley point number 2. He says the relationship also has maintenance. He says through the washing of the water of the word to remove every blemish, every spot, every wrinkle, every such thing. He was saying the relationships require maintenance. The relationship between us and God requires maintenance. That's why I read and study and research the word maintenance. That's why I quote scriptures, do denials and affirmations, maintenance, praise and worship and thanksgiving, maintenance, fellowshipping with positive people, it's all maintenance. Every relationship in your life requires maintenance. It cannot be healthy, successful, or sustained without maintenance. Every relationship requires maintenance. Your car, it has to be serviced. No matter how elegant the car is, no matter how beautiful the car is, the car requires maintenance. No matter how expensive it is, it requires maintenance because it's a car, and it gives you a warning, and it lets you know that it's time for it to be serviced. It requires maintenance. Every appliance requires maintenance. Those appliances require maintenance. Every relationship in your life requires maintenance. Relationships do not function on autopilot. They need maintenance to maintain them, to sustain them, to keep them growing and healthy and developing. It requires maintenance. Every relationship in your life requires maintenance. That's how you keep the relationship going, is by maintaining it through communication, quality time. Your relationship with God requires maintenance. Your relationship with yourself requires maintenance. Your friendships, your family relationships, your intimate relationships, they all require maintenance. Pulley point number 3. He says, also, you got to keep the mystery. He said, I'm not even really talking about husband and wives. I'm talking about the mystery of Christ and the church. And so in the relationship, you got to keep the mystery. You got to keep the mystique. Love is a mystery. That even though you frustrate me and get on my nerves and irritate me, I still love you. That's a mystery. The mystery of Christ in you, your hope of glory, that the God who made the universe lives inside of me. That's a mystery. That I was looking for God outside of myself, all over the place. I've been all around, been around the world and still looking for God, and God was within the whole time. Relationships require maintenance, but they also need mystery, the mystique, to keep the fire burning. Tag someone this post. Share it on your page. Repost it. This is Dr. Pulley with the Gospel of the Kingdom. If you desire a full version of today's message, you can catch it on our Facebook page, Dr. Derard Pulley, or our YouTube channel, Dr. Pulley. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached all over the earth before the end can come. In Ephesians chapter 6, verses 1 through 4, Paul gives us some wise words for better families. Yes, wise words for family living. And he sets up the dynamic. He goes over the Old Testament, what is said in the Old Testament, the Old Testament structure. Pulley point number 1, he said in order to have a successful family, he starts with reverence. Children, obey your parents. The Old Testament said honor your father and your mother. This is the first commandment with promise. And many times we look at that and we're like, we think about what our parents didn't do, what our mothers didn't do, what our fathers didn't do. But it's not based upon what they've done. It's based upon the fact that these are the vehicles that God flowed through to bring you here. That you came here as a result of a sperm and an egg. Before your mother carried you in her womb, your father carried you in his loins. And these are the people that you need to fulfill your purpose. Whether they put you up for adoption, whether you were raised by another relative, you are here. So honor your parents that you are here. Reverence them that they brought you here. Even if they were not the best parents, or y'all didn't get along, or maybe they had issues that they were working through in their own lives, honor the fact that they brought you here. And some people have flipped it around. Instead of honor your father and your mother, they say honor your mother and your father, because their relationships with their mothers are more close than their relationships with their fathers. So in their mind, they think the Bible says honor your mother and your father. I thought that for years, because my mother was so paramount in my life and my father was more secondary. But the scripture actually says honor your father and your mother. Some people even look at that metaphysically to say honor your thoughts and your feelings. That whatever child, whatever product of your life is as a result of what you are thinking, your father, and what you are feeling, your mother. So honor your thoughts and your feelings. Have a balance in your life. Some people look at it as honor the masculine and the feminine energy, because we all have estrogen, and we all have testosterone in our bodies. So honor the fact that you are balanced, that God made us both male and female. Honor that. Find that balance in your life. And so not only does Paul say honor, and he's talking in a very literal sense, honor your father and your mother, honor your parents. Point number 2, he also gives instructions to the parents, specifically to the fathers. He said, and do not provoke your children to wrath, which is new, which is a New Testament, a new covenant theology, where he's saying all of the reverence and obedience and honor is not just on the children, but he said, parents, you have a responsibility to take care of your children, to bring them up in the fear, the reverence, the admonition of the Lord. And you also have a responsibility to respect them. Point number 2 is parents, respect your children. Point number 1 is children, reverence your parents. But just as much as the children are to reverence their parents, the parents are to respect the children. Not to abuse them, not to use them, not to provoke them, not to take advantage of them, but to know their temperament, to train up a child in the way that they are to go, so that when they get old, they do not depart from it. So that in any relationship, there is mutual responsibility on the parent and on the child, on the teacher and the student, on the husband and the wife. That whatever relationship you're in, there's mutual respect, mutual responsibility. Point number 3 is that he also set up a system of rewards. That children who reverence their parents, honor their mother and father, the scripture says that your days may be long upon the land, which the Lord your God has given you, that it may be well with you. A lot of times it's not well with us because we got unresolved issues with our parents that are not healed, that we've not dealt with. Go to counseling if you need to. Go to therapy. Get a coach. Talk to your parents. Resolve the issue so that it may be well with you, and so that you may have long life. Whether you desire to live to be 80, 100, however long you desire to live, let it be well with you. Resolve those foundational issues. There's also a reward to the parents. That the parents, that when you raise your children and train them up in the way that they go, you see that positive impact that you have on their lives. You see generational influence that you have on their lives. You see the impact, even if they stray. There's a foundation that has been laid that they can build on. Even if they stray, they know that you love them unconditionally, and you can see them listening to the words that you said to them even as they were children, and the impact that it has on their lives. There's a reward for the parents who respect their children, and there is a reward for the children who honor their parents. Tag someone this post, share it on your page, repost it. This is Dr. Pulley with the Gospel of the Kingdom. If you desire a full version of today's message, you can catch it on our Facebook page, Dr. DeVar Pulley, or our YouTube channel, Dr. Pulley. And this Gospel of the Kingdom shall be preached all over the earth before the end can come.
It on the inside. Oh, God is doing it on the inside. God is doing it on the inside. Oh, God is doing it on the inside. God is doing something wonderful in me.